What's up, everyone? It's another beautiful day on the farm. Over the last more than 2.5 years, we've been growing our own food, keeping our own poultry, harvesting our own water. And today we are going to give you the 10 things that we are self-sufficient in since we started our self-sufficiency journey. As I've mentioned, about 2.5 years ago, thereabouts. Yeah, so we got into this journey with the desire to actually grow tasty organic food for our family. We've mentioned before that while we used to live in the city, we were very worried about the sources of food that we had at the time, because if you've resided in Nairobi, like some of the vegetables grow near sewages or in sewages. So we were looking for a way to actually change that for our family, and that's why we started on this journey. And today, now we are going to get into those 10 things that we no longer need to buy because we are currently producing them at the farm. Okay, let's get into it. So our very, very, very first crop has got to be spring onions. And there are several reasons why we've managed to be self-sufficient in spring onions. One of those reasons is that spring onions actually do very, very well in this area. It's one of those crops that every farmer in this area has on their farm. So for us, it was a no-brainer. We also had to have them on our farm, and we never lacked spring onions throughout the year, even during the dry period. So this is one of the beds with spring onions. Currently, we have about 3 beds with a lot of spring onions, and then several more with bits and pieces of spring onions. So we have spring onions throughout the year. So the other thing that has allowed us to be self-sufficient in spring onions is that we ensure continuous planting throughout the season. What do I mean by this? So for example, if I'm harvesting these spring onions, I'll actually make sure I leave one on the ground, and then I just pick, I pick the rest. So one has remained on the ground, we've gotten 2. Yeah, so that's how you ensure that you have spring onions throughout the year. Whenever you harvest, make sure that you leave some. So I'm also getting 2 from this batch, and I've left another one on the ground. So the next time we come, they'll be producing other bunches. All we have to do is to keep adding manure, compost to this bed, and we keep getting more spring onions as throughout the season. So the second thing that we are self-sufficient in has got to be collard greens. And why collard greens? So like the spring onions, collard greens are crops that also do very well in this area, and I think in most parts of Kenya. And so for us, it was also a no-brainer that we should also have plenty of collard greens on the farm. It's the beginning of a new season, and you can see they're doing amazingly well. Like the spring onions also, we have them in several beds just to ensure that we don't miss collard greens throughout the year. So, but you also have to know that we depend on rain-fed agriculture at the moment. So during the dry season, unlike the spring onions that somehow try to go through the dry period gracefully, these ones sometimes, the collard greens sometimes do not produce as much during the dry season, but you're going to change that. Yeah, we already told you that you're going to dig a well so that we can ensure that we produce them throughout the year. So the third thing that we are self-sufficient in has to be sweet potatoes. One of the things that we practice at Taraj Eco Farm to ensure that we have produce, we are harvesting food throughout the year, is to plant crops at different stages. So at the moment, we harvested, I think it was 1 week ago, we harvested sweet potatoes. We have others that will be ready by the end of April, and we have others that will be ready by the end of May, like that. So it means at any given time, we are continually producing our own sweet potatoes. We're not harvesting so much at once and missing sweet potatoes through the rest of the year. So sweet potatoes has got to be the third crop that we are self-sufficient in, and we really, really enjoy it because, and even kids like it because it's of the sweetness of the sweet potato. Yes. The one thing that sweet potatoes have helped us to do is to reduce the intake of bread, processed, a lot of processed, because bread is really processed wheat that we used to take every morning. So we reduced that because now we can incorporate things like sweet potatoes in our diet, and we've grown them ourselves without applying uh, any chemical, insect, pesticides or whatever things that people use to grow their crops. We're growing ours organically and putting in all the effort that is needed to be able to get a good harvest at the end of it all. Now, the fourth thing that you're self-sufficient in means we no longer have the need to actually buy it is pumpkin. So initially, when we started growing pumpkin, we tried different varieties, mostly with seeds bought from the supermarket, which didn't do very well. But I got seeds from my mom, which really uh, gave us very good pumpkins. And those are the seeds that we've been saving and planting over and over. So this is the new season. We still have, I think, one more pumpkin left from the last season. We have new pumpkins coming up in different areas of the farm. And this is one thing that we don't need to go to the market to buy for any reason. Yeah. One of the things that we love about pumpkin is that they have a long shelf life. So for example, even the one pumpkin that is remaining from our last season was harvested a while back ago. Think of a month ago. That's actually one of the most beautiful things about pumpkin. The fifth thing that we are self-sufficient in has got to be maize. So when we started off, we had a very small area. This is where we used to grow our maize. We just mix it with other things. And you can actually see this is the only place that we have maize on this, the part of the farm that you're most familiar with. But when we expanded, we actually now grew it on a large scale. We're even able to feed, some of it we used to feed our chicken. So mostly we consume it as green maize, and the remainder that dries out, we use to make ugali flour. So how we use it on the farm, and also to make a bit of chicken feeds. Now, what kind of maize do we grow and what informed that decision? So mostly we've been growing yellow maize. The last season we grew 100% yellow maize. This season we've mixed it a bit with some white maize. The reason why we tend to lean towards the yellow maize is because of the nutritional value that they have. And actually, even the market prices, if somebody was to go commercial, the market prices for yellow maize are actually higher than those for white maize. Now, the other thing that we are self-sufficient in has got to be green bananas. So at the moment, we have several varieties of bananas. We have the green bananas, we have a ripening variety, we have the sweet bananas, and we also have plantain. Yes, we also have plantain. So the bananas that we currently are self-sufficient in are the green bananas, the ones for cooking. Although in our case, we cook a bit and we let the others ripen. So we are 100% self-sufficient in green bananas. We don't see the need to go buy any more from the market because look at all these plants. Yeah, and we've just harvested one last week, as you can see on the clip. We just harvested one bunch last week. So we continuously have bananas on the farm. In fact, there's a time that we had about 4 to 5 big bunches ready at the same time. Unfortunately, the wind messed up with, I think, 3 bunches, and we didn't get to eat them. But you can see how much food you can be able to produce for yourself and your family, just even on a small area, provided that you have good soil, you have compost, and you're taking good care of your garden. Yeah, it's been a bit funny. The last couple of videos that we've shot, in the middle of shooting, it rains. But before we run for shelter, the seventh thing that we actually are self-sufficient in is sugarcane. We have so much sugarcane on the farm. I think currently over 200 canes. So much sugarcane to the point that we think we should do a bit of value addition or find another way to actually make good use of the sugarcane on the farm. But this is one of the things that we are self-sufficient in. And when the rain stops, we'll be able to enjoy one of these. Very nice, very tasty. A lot of our sugarcane are very, very tasty. There are very limited bunches that we want to get rid of that don't have a very nice taste, but majority of them are very, very tasty. So one of the other things that we are self-sufficient in is actually a variety of fruits. So although we have various fruit trees like avocados, pixies, oranges, mangoes, etc., majority of them have not begun giving us fruit. But we do have some fruits that we enjoy on the farm that we actually do not buy from the market. And those fruits are passion fruits, which we've been consuming for through the dry period. Now the rains are back, and I think we'll get even more fruits. We have passion fruits. We also have strawberries and tree tomatoes. So for those three fruits, we are consuming 100% from the farm. And in future, we look forward to the rest, the mangoes, the avocados. Yeah, we look forward to consuming our own from the farm. Now, uh, apart from crops, we're also self-sufficient in our supply of chicken eggs. We So I gave you the story of the collard greens. Chicken eggs was also another thing that really informed our decision to be self-sufficient. And mostly because the eggs in the market that we were getting were not really quality eggs that like we would want. We wanted to get the eggs from the indigenous chicken. And secondly, there's the issue of when a lot of, let me not say a lot. I don't have the figures I don't have the figures, but there are farmers that would give antibiotics to chicken and not withdraw at the selling of the eggs in case they are selling eggs to the customers. So those were the two major things that informed our keeping of chicken for eggs and also for meat. But for now, we are talking about the eggs. So we are going to collect a few eggs that have been laid this afternoon. Uh, so these are our laying boxes. So I'm just looking for eggs. Can't find any there. There's one there. And I have a couple more here. So these are the kinds of eggs that we get here. And when a chicken is laying eggs for the first time, they will appear like this, a bit bloody, but the rest of the others are okay. So this is from a new chicken that has started laying eggs. Yes, so the final thing that we're actually self-sufficient in is chicken meat. We keep a lot of chicken on the farm. Currently, they are a bit less in numbers, but we're still self-sufficient in chicken. And the kind of chicken we keep are the kienyeji, also known as indigenous chicken. We let them roam around in the garden. We also make some chicken feeds from our maize and give to them, and also supplement with commercial feeds. And one of the things we've actually noticed is that the chicken that we are raising on the farm actually quite tasty compared to what we were used to previously. The broilers that we were buying in the supermarket. Yes, so they are quite tasty. So are the eggs, very different in taste, very different in the nutrients that they give us. So yeah, this is one of the things that we really enjoy on the farm. And yeah, we are just looking forward to hatching new chicks so that we can increase the population of chicken on the farm. So we hope you enjoyed the 10 items that we mentioned that you're self-sufficient in. We'd also like to know what are you looking forward to be self-sufficient in, and what are you already self-sufficient in your self-sufficiency journey. So remember to leave that comment down there. We'd also like to know, and we can borrow something from your experience as well. And apart from food, we're also self-sufficient in other things like water. We we harvest our own water. We have two very big tanks, and we harvest rainwater, and that is what we use in our day-to-day life. We look forward in future to be self-sufficient in energy, because this area, sometimes when there are power blackouts, takes a bit of time to restore. So in future, we look forward to actually being self-sufficient in our energy. Now, We hope that you enjoyed today's video. And if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, share with a friend, and also subscribe if you haven't. See you next week in our other video. Bye bye.